Welcome to InstantGMP. This video will help cannabis clients understand how to utilize the InstantGMP integration with METRC. To start, we need to have clients send us their API keys for METRC so our team can make sure the two databases are communicating properly. From there, we need to make sure all the METRC data is carried over to InstantGMP. This is the first training task cannabis METRC clients would complete. Afterwards, all data between the two systems will automatically transfer. To do that, you will follow a guided workflow to ensure data is accurate. We will do the first two together. Start by finding the setup folder, then materials and inventory, and finally unit. Once in the unit screen, click on Get Unit from METRC. What this does is capture all the unique unit entries in METRC and carries them over to InstantGMP. Verify there are no errors. Afterwards, you can move on to the second step. If you do run into an error, contact your InstantGMP account manager or trainer for help. Let's run through the second step together. Start by going to Setup, then Facility and Equipment, and finally Facility. Click on Import Facilities from METRC and select all the facilities that apply. At least one should be selected. Wait for the data to import and move on to the next step, assuming no errors occur. From here, we head to Location Type. We click Update Location Types from METRC and you will see how the list propagates with new information. Next is Room. Click Update Rooms from METRC and you will see the room list update. After Rooms comes Material Types. Click on Update Categories from METRC and make sure there are no errors. After material type comes strains. Click on Update Strains for METRC and make sure there are no errors. After strains comes Package Adjustment Type. Click Import Package Adjustment Type from METRC and make sure there are no errors. Once done with package adjustment type, we are done importing materials in setup. Next, we're going to head to Materials and click Update Materials from METRC. This will be harder to see, so please pay attention to the number of pages present on the Materials section. If you noticed, it jumped from 6 to 92, meaning all of the data was transferred successfully. After Materials, we will head over to Inventory and we will click on Import Active Packages from METRC and make sure there is no error. For reference, this is the METRC workflow that we just went through together. Now that our InstantGMP data matches the METRC data, we can begin to look at the other aspects changed by the integration. If we try to add a new raw material, for example, we will see some new options. The first new option is regulated. This is to differentiate between materials or products with a THC value exceeding 0.3%. Another way to look at regulated is whether state requirements would mandate this material or product be tracked by METRC. If so, then mark it as regulated. Once you've decided whether the product is regulated, you will decide on the type. Based on the previous selection, you will find a different list of types. Regulated types match with the METRC types. Non-regulated are the system defaults or internal entries. Regulated materials also need to have the facility and strain information entered. The facility and strain information is being pulled from the initial setup steps we talked about earlier. From here, you would just enter the same information you would for any typical material. Now let's look at the same entry for a finished good. We will see many of the same data fields, but in this example, we will choose a multi-layered type that leads into a multi-layered unit selection. If we choose flour with packaged ounce each as the type, we can see some additional data fields below facility and strain. Batch unit and quantity on each allows for more detailed material information. This finished good information lets me know we tracked the batch by each package, but also how much is in each package. So for each bag, we have 1 ounce of material. Make sure the data for your finished goods and raw materials are accurate for congruency with metric data. The final piece of the metric integration is utilizing the metric tag upon receipt of the material. This cannot be demonstrated as the public demos for both InstantGMP and metric would not allow temporary data to be transferred. However, as warehouse personnel receive their materials, they will use this metric tag section to update the location of the package to the current site by scanning the label. From here, the metric integration is simple. The changes in inventory values for the warehouse and production are mostly done through InstantGMP. As we can see on the workflow diagram, users will make data changes to the values within InstantGMP, and then the system will automatically update the metric values. This is true for finished goods as well. As materials come out of a batch production record, the system updates metric as well. For shipping the material, the warehouse team will need to create a shipping manifest for the driver. However, the manifest isn't updating the data in metric. This will be done by the recipient of the order. They will use the manifest to update the metric database. So to recap shortly, you begin with the setup where you import all of the data from metric, and then you can just use InstantGMP to transfer data between the two softwares. Any data changes after shipping is done by the customer. Congratulations, you now know how to use the InstantGMP integration with metric. Thank you and have a wonderful day.